So as a automotive manufacturer, okay, your sole purpose is to build cars, nothing else. Build cars and sell cars. That is the purpose of your existence. So why would you decide to dabble in social issues and the culture war to the point where you try to relaunch your brand? You even come up with a new logo for your company. Yet, when you release ads, you barely show your new car. Instead, you show models. What does that have to do with the car? How many people on this planet do you think are going to look at that and say, you know what? I'm going to buy that car just because of these models, because I agree with what you're saying. There will be a few people that do that. The overwhelming majority will not. Don't take my word for that. Look at what's happening to Jaguar right now. Their tallies came out, I think it was a tally from January to now or something like that. But anyways, 97% down in sales. And now they're trying to relaunch the actual company as a luxury EV manufacturer. It's not going to be, I'm assuming there's not going to be any more petroleum in the future. We'll see how long that lasts, or internal combustion engine cars. We'll see how long that lasts. If sales are awful, I'm assuming that will probably change as well. But I was also reading that a lot of the dealerships don't have anything on the showroom because they stopped producing new petroleum-powered vehicles in preparation for this EV relaunch. That means that they're going to have to come out swinging with whatever car they release. And if it's the car from the ad, based on social media feedback, that's not going to cut it. Now, that may have been intentional, to kind of test the water and see how people would react to it. And maybe it'll change, kind of like concept car, what they do with that. They'll build it, get a reaction, and then they'll decide whether to actually keep it or take design cues from it or what have you. Sometimes they know in advance that they're not going to keep it. They just release it anyways to showcase what they can build and the technology that they have. We'll see. But I hate that Jaguar has put themselves in this position, because old Jags are some of the prettiest cars ever built, some of the most valuable cars ever built. I certainly couldn't afford one. And the racing pedigree that they have in sports car racing, even in NASCAR. I think they were the only foreign-made manufacturer that won a race in NASCAR until Toyota came along. I hate to see all that squandered and we lose another manufacturer because of stupid business decisions. Whatever your opinion is of, the LGBT stuff that they were pushing hot and heavy during their relaunch, this is not about that. This is about, what should you be focused on? What should you be trying to do? Win or play a part in a culture war, or build and sell cars? I made a video about this after they released those ads, and I said, this is going to be a problem moving down the road, and now that's where we are. And, you didn't have to have a crystal ball to see it coming. I didn't say anything that wasn't completely obvious. And for anyone who knows anything about the automotive industry, it was painfully obvious. And I'm assuming that the people that are running the show over there don't have a history in automotive, I would imagine. Maybe marketing, stuff like that. What works for marketing in this industry doesn't work in the automotive industry, typically speaking. I just hope they don't, like I said, I hope they don't learn that the hard way. We'll see. If you enjoy listening to me ramble and talk about motorsports, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, turn on notifications, the works. As I've stated previously, we are in a copyright strike due to an old video, which means our reach is basically non-existent at the moment. So, if you would tell your friends, share the video, scream from the rooftops, tell everybody to check our channel out. That'd be much appreciated. If you're interested in diecast, t-shirts, hats, racing memorabilia, any of that kind of stuff, check out our eBay. The link is in the description. We have We don't have hay. We have a sale going on right now, site-wide, for the foreseeable future to get rid of a lot of the stuff that we have, and we have a ton. Let me tell you, I'll give you a walkthrough of our warehouse at some point, but just take my word for it. You can see right here. I mean, that's just a small portion of the stuff that we have. We have a Chevy bus, a 1990 Chevy bus, which, by the way, is pretty cool. You don't see those going up and down the road very often. And I know people are going to say, well, yeah, it's because it's a Chevy. Yeah, but also, you know, if you maintain a vehicle, then it'll run forever. So I don't buy into the nonsense of GM products are just garbage. That's why you don't see some of the older ones. I don't buy into that. I think it's nonsense. But we have one of those that's completely full. But we also have a Bluebird from like 1965. Shorter bus. Both of those are full. One's full of parts. One's full of, decor and all that kind of stuff. So check it out. If you see something you like, shoot me an offer. I promise you, I likely will not say no to any offer that you make me. So anyways, without further ado, let's talk some racing. So the big news that broke today, which is not really big news either, is that Daniel Suarez is out at Trackhouse at the end of this season. This is in the Cup Series in NASCAR. And it's not really a surprise because Connor Zilisch has been making, one-off starts here and there in an extra car, and he's been really fast everywhere that they've gone, particularly at COTA. I think at COTA he had the best car. They just kept shooting themselves in the foot, getting put back in traffic, and then he finally ran into Suarez, I believe is who it was, spun out right in front of him, and took him out of the race, which is a shame, because like I said, I think he had the car to win, which would have been cool, in a one-off. That stuff's not rare anymore, considering SVG just showed up and won in his first start. But it's still cool to see nonetheless, and I think he had the ability to do that. But now, in all likelihood, he's going to be replacing Suarez. They haven't formally announced that. But I think that's the way that they're going, which is interesting because, Justin Marks, when he started that team, he said that it was going to be akin to Rev Racing in the ARCA series, which they almost strictly hire minorities. And it's in an effort to give them, a shot in the sport. And I understand all that. I don't have a problem with that. But now he's letting go of the only Latino driver in the Cup Series in favor of a Caucasian kid, which I find interesting. I don't feel any kind of way about it. It's just, I don't know, if it's a little, I don't know, it goes against his own words, in a way. But I mean, it's business, money talks and bull crap walks, as they say. If the results aren't there, if the sponsorship money is not there, if the money bags are wanting change, then you're going to do it regardless of public opinion, which you have to keep your business afloat. You have to make everybody happy, and investors are the main ones. You have to do everything you can to stroke their ego and make them happy, because once their money dries up, then your business is gone. And with everything that Justin's invested, obviously he doesn't want to go down that path, and particularly with the rumors that they could potentially be Dodge's team when they come back to the Cup Series in 27 or whenever it was they said that they were coming. So we'll see. Very interesting. Like I said, not exactly shocking. But also, too, just since Connor's moving up, that's going to leave the 88 in the Xfinity Series up for grabs. I would imagine that Daniel's probably going to make a play for that. You're going to have funding because Dale Jr. has already stated explicitly that he's not going to run a bare race car with no sponsorship dollars. So you're going to have funding. I think Daniel's pretty good with sponsors. It's the reason he stuck around as long as he did in the Cup Series. I mean, he's been in the Cup Series forever. And he won 2 races, one at, I think it was Sonoma, and then the other was at Atlanta, which is a plate track. Not taken away from him, but a certain amount of luck and good fortune goes into winning one of those races. And, he's stuck it out for this long, and I think it's because he's good with sponsors. Is friendly with them, however you want to phrase it. And so he could potentially move to that 88. I'm biased, though. I'd like to see some of these guys that have been toiling around in the series for a while get a shot with a good team, the top team. Some of those guys like Ryan Ellis or Jeremy Clements. Jeremy Clements has, he finds sponsors to sponsor his family team every weekend. And so he has some funding. I just don't know how much funding would be needed to run in that 88, since it's one of the top teams. I'm sure a lot more than what Jeremy and them are asking to run that family team. But Jeremy would be good. Mason Massey has Brunt in his back pocket, and I'm not exactly sure where Brunt is, but they're on his race cars all the time, and I think he could do it. There's several guys that would make a good fit. I don't know if Lane is under contract with Ford. And that would also be a good one. Lane Riggs. I'm also biased on that one too, because I know some folks who know some folks, and so it'd be kind of cool to see him get a shot in Xfinity. He certainly earned it at this point. 2 races last year he won. He's been right there with Corey Haim in every race this season so far, basically, speed wise. And then he won last weekend, or the weekend before last. So he certainly earned a shot in the next step. So I'd like to see that. But I don't know what his situation is with Ford. But regardless, I wanted to take a moment and give a shout out to all of my friends who are international watching this channel. It occurred to me yesterday or the day prior, looking at some of the stats or whatever, that we have folks from Brazil, from Japan, from Australia, from the UK that tune in. And I just want to say that's crazy to me, in a good way. That's nuts, man. That, we started this channel. We had no intentions of it taking off or anything like that. I was just wanting to make some videos and stuff for my kids, and that kind of thing. And the fact that we're, closing in on 3,000 subscribers, that people enjoy listening to what we have to say. And I say we because my wife helps me with the videos and stuff. That's wild to me. And it's humbling, man. It is so cool. It is absolutely one of the coolest things on the planet. I want to say this to Brazilian stock car racing, Formula Truck, 2 of the coolest forms of racing on the planet. Japan, Super GT, love that series, man. Those cars are wild and out. Drifting in Japan is a big deal. Australia, supercars. And supercars is really good, but when they have the supercars weekends, they also have all the support categories that run with them. So like the Dunlop series, like the touring car masters, the Utes. I mean, it's like a festival. Every event is a festival of speed, and it's awesome. I love it. Absolutely love it. The UK BTCC is the best touring car series on the planet, hands down. I'd put it right there with Brazilian stock car racing, because to me, Brazilian stock car racing is not stock cars. It's touring cars, especially now that they run the wagons or whatever. I'd put those 2 on I'd put those 2 on level footing. Very cool stuff. And also one more thing too before I go. Make sure to watch the IndyCar race this weekend, because Felix Rosenquist, he drives for Meyer Shank. They have a partnership with SiriusXM. And I'm assuming through that partnership, he has a livery this weekend. It's going to be Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath. The car is purple and black. It looks sick. I mean, anytime you have a rock and roll sponsorship, it's sick. Sick in a good way. I was never like a massive Ozzy fan growing up. I've listened to him a lot more now that I've gotten older. Good stuff. He's a legend. I mean, come on. It's Ozzy. And for Ozzy to be on a race car, there's been race car sponsorships with rock bands and stuff over the years. Fallen in Reverse, and one of the most recent ones in NASCAR. There's been quite a few in NASCAR, actually. Back in the early 2000s, they had the Chevy Rock and Roll, whatever it was, at Richmond. And, like Dale Jr. had 3 Doors Down, I believe, on his car. And then there was one event, I don't remember if it was at Richmond or not. Rusty Wallace had, I think, the Goo Goo Dolls on his car. I remember the car, but I don't remember the event. But nevertheless, point is that there's been rock and roll sponsorships throughout the years. It's just in IndyCar, it's not been super common. So pretty cool to see that. And hopefully he runs up front. We'll see. It's Mid-Ohio. Felix, pretty good around that place. So we'll see. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. It really does. I don't think you guys don't even know how much it means to me. It's crazy seeing the number of people who enjoy listening to me ramble, tell stories, and talk racing. It's one of my favorite things to do. So, hey, I appreciate you guys watching, listening, and getting some sort of enjoyment out of it. It's really cool. Like I said, if you're interested in t-shirts, hats, die-cast cars, auto parts, stuff like that, check out our eBay. The link is in the description. Until next time, we'll keep an eye out, because tomorrow we'll upload another video. So until then, God bless. Peace.
100 fölfele. 100 fölfele, jobb 2 tempó, 20-ra bal 2 tempó, 20-ra bal 2 tempó, 25-re bal 2 szűk, bal 2 szűk, és bal 2, és bal 2, majd 50-re jobb 2, itt a bal 2, és 50-re jobb 2, jobb 2, majd szűk 50-re jobb 3 az aszfaltra. Szűk 50-re jobb 3 az aszfaltra.